Hey, this is Rick Keys, Rick Keys Music Caravan Blues Show. How y'all doing? We're continuing with the Rick Keys Music Caravan Top Blues Release Album list for 2020. Got a lot of them, and we've got some more today. Just want to let you know we were listening to another one that made my list, and that was called a band called Sam. And their release is Legacy, and it's actually the daughter and the son or the grandson of Sam Bluesman Taylor. So they made it to my list. Congratulations. But another gentleman that has made it to my list, his name is Jeremiah Johnson, and he's actually made it to my list before. So I'm showing you that. And I believe we have Jeremiah on the line, don't we?
That's right, man. Good to hear from you today. I hope everybody's doing good.
Jeremiah, how you do? So you're in St. Louis, right?
That's correct. I am right in the middle of the country.
Okay, well, let you know, I used to live in Illinois, I guess southern Illinois, a little town called Caseyville. I don't know if you're familiar where that is, but
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
okay, you know where Caseyville is. Tiny little town. But my dad used to be a recruiter in St. Louis, so I always went to St. Louis with them and went over that rickety. I think it's called the Eads Bridge, or the metal one. That one.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, they've got new bridges since then, but yeah, that thing was kind of scary. That was one of the original bridges, so that's history right there.
Yeah, and I was actually there when they were building the arch. So I mean, going back and forth in those years, I saw them, coming to the pinnacle at the top. And apparently, they kind of made a little mistake at the top, and they had to do some readjustment. Is that a true story, Jeremiah?
Well, the truth of it is that the summers in St. Louis get real hot, so they didn't stainless steel had expanded so much because it was like 100 something degrees out.
Right.
That caused the problem. It wasn't that they made a mistake or any of that. It was simply that the metal expanded so much in the heat that they had to hose it down and cool both sides down to get it to fit.
Oh, I actually remember spending a lot of time because I think my dad's office was downtown somewhere. But there's that the museum, kind of the courthouse museum. It's near. Okay, so yeah, I know where you're at. All right, so I wanted to call you, Jeremiah, and let you know that you have been inducted into the Rick Keys Music Caravan Top Blues Release Album List for 2020. Congratulations.
Man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And it's been one of those years, and things like this, really mean a lot to us professional musicians that are still trying to survive and get by, and I just thank you so much.
And you know what? You actually made my list for another year too with your, not the one recently. That one was kind of country, but the one before that, I can't.
Straight Jacket.
That one, yeah, that one was great too. So that one made it to my list. So you've been on the Rick Keys Music Caravan Top Blues release list 2 years now. Congratulations! I must like your music.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. I'm thankful.
Yeah. Thankful. And so anyway, you've been going back and forth on, because I use the RMR chart, and you've been going back and forth. I guess right now, let me see, what were you? You were 44, but you moved up to number 35. They must have heard that you were gonna get on the Rick Keys Music Caravan list, so they started playing.
That's true. That's why this is a very sought after interview, and that actually those things go up and down, and depending on DJs and what they're playing and so forth. Holidays are getting ready to come up, so we're going to get a lot of Christmas blues music and stuff. But
right,
I'm just thankful that the DJs out there take the time to include me on their playlists. There's so much music out there to offer, and to be in the top for you, thanks, man. It means the world to us. It means more than people would think. It really does.
And you know what, Jeremiah, I try to explain this to my audience because I do use the RMR chart, and I don't necessarily agree with who's 1 and 2 or in the top 10 all the time, but a lot of times I do. But I chose yours because, as I told, I was telling Kathy Lemon, Kathy and Phil from the Lucky Losers.
Yes, I do. Actually, I've seen them not long ago here in St. Louis.
Yeah, they mentioned that. So They made it to my list also. I've been kind of following their career, and they're getting better and better now. And I guess they had Kid Anderson uh, produce their CD and actually play. So that's a pretty big name right there, Kid Anderson. I have a lot of respect for Kid.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really nice people. It's nice to see them trying to make the best out of touring in 2020, the same as I was trying to do. So I appreciate people who are really sticking it out.
Right. And I kind of explained to them kind of my process for coming up with who I consider to be the best for my list. One of it is the instrumentals are good and the vocals are great. The lyrics are good and it's unique. So you fit all those categories, especially you're unemployed, highly annoyed. That's very appropriate for 2020 and lots of other ones. So I really liked your CD. And what else was I going to? Oh, so you're standing in front of a building that says JL with the eagle. Where's that at?
Oh, that well, first of all, that's my logo. It's the double J. It's one of the J's.
Oh, that's what that is.
But that building is it's Beale on Broadway. It's a legendary blues club that closed down, and it actually closed at the end of 2019, beginning of 2019. But to me, that building was a symbol of what's happened to a lot of the blues clubs across this country. Just fantastic places that have had some of the most amazing talent on their stages are shutting down. They were shutting down before the pandemic. The pandemic is like a nail in the coffin for many of them.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that I represented that a little bit.
Is that Beale Street in Tennessee? That famous.
Well, no, I mean, they call it Beale on Broadway, but that's kind of the idea behind the name. Broadway is the main street that runs down St. Louis downtown.
Oh, okay, that's in St. Louis.
They call it Beale on Broadway.
How'd you get your logo on there?
Little that magic Photoshop thing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say a little late night graffiti, but hey, well, that's really cool. So, how many? I know we interviewed earlier before, and I asked you a bunch of questions, so I knew you're from St. Louis. So, have you changed your group any, or was this more of a? So,
after making that last album, the one that you said was a little more country, and it was a little bit more southern rock country.
Mm-hmm.
I had a 5-piece band, and I was touring after I recorded it. I was touring Europe with the Roof Records Blues Caravan, Ryan Perry and Whitney Shea. I kind of was thinking about, man, I need to get back to the roots of this thing. I got my band's gotten real big, and so I was already thinking that I needed to go back to a trio. And then so when I got back in the United States, I guess it was March, and the pandemic shut everything down. I thought, I'm not going to be working for a while. This would be a great time for me to revamp my band and start over the way that I want to do. So I got a totally new crew. I picked up Paul Niehaus on bass and Tony Antonelli on drums. They're both really good singers. Paul's a multi-instrumentalist, play organ and bass and whatever, really, guitar or anything.
Hey, Jeremiah, I think I have a picture of them on the back of your releases. So in the center, the real handsome guy, that's you. And that's what Kathy said too. She goes, really handsome and nice and handsome. Okay, so then the other two guys, you got a guy, I've got this all scribbled up with how I rated all the songs. So let me see.
The guy with the beard is Tony Antonelli.
Okay,
he's toured the world quite a bit. He was with Devin Allman's Devin Allman project.
Uh-huh.
So he's toured Europe and all the United States with Devin, and he's just been in a bunch of really popular bands here in this Midwest. The Schwags, we did the Grateful Dead scene for a while. He's an instructor and a studio drummer.
Oh, cool. And now, who's the guy on the right of you?
Paul Niehaus. He's a younger guy. He owns his own studio here in St. Louis called Blue Lotus Studios, and he's just been producing all kinds of local artists for years now, and you know, we actually did this record in his studio. That was the idea that you know, me and him and the drummer, the three of us, we did the entire record by ourselves in, you know, in 10 days, recorded it in 3 days.
Right.
And that way, because at the time when we recorded this, it was May. The pandemic was still
in its infancy.
We were scared still, you know. It was like a big deal for us to even get together.
Yeah. Hey, so do you write the lyrics on all these songs?
I sure do. You know, I wrote all the originals on this album. I wrote in 10 days, and I wrote them about this, you know, the pandemic, things that were going on, and the things I had seen over the, you know, the last 3 months that I, you know, before I wrote it. And I read all my own material down. I did pick up Luther Allison's Cherry Red Wine on this album. I covered it. And I covered that specifically because that's one of the songs that I was doing in Europe before the pandemic shut down. I was doing it with with Whitney Shea and Ryan Perry. And I just felt like I kind of wanted to pay tribute to Luther Allison and, you know, what I was doing with the Blues Caravan in case I didn't get to do it. Good news is that it looks like they're rescheduling the caravan and the touring to start up again in fall of 2021. So right as it looks right now, I'm going back to Europe in September for about 6 weeks.
Okay, well, so I've seen you guys, Ryan. You're all with Roof. It's Roof, right? Not Rough.
Yeah,
Roof.
Roof. Yeah, a lot of people, Americans mostly call it Rough. But yeah, Roof Records.
And Roof they're like in Germany, isn't the owner live in Europe somewhere? Okay. So, and he's you know, he's like competing with Alligator. So he's one of the top labels out there. And I thought it was kind of cool that Whitney Shea, who is a local and who I know from San Diego, she is on Roof, and so is Ryan Perry, and you are, and a lot of great artists are on Roof. So there's a lot of blues artists gravitating to that label, which is kind of cool, and that they set you up and they sent you to Germany. How long were you in Germany? Or, well, how long were you in Europe?
Well, before the pandemic shut down, in 2020, we did about, I think it was 5.5 weeks. So it was like 30-something dates, shows. Pretty hardcore touring. I mean, we would go like 7-day stretches with no days off, you know, doing a show every night. But yeah, you know, we were all over, mostly around Germany and all the countries around Germany, and then we ended up losing our UK tour and a few of the northern European countries. We lost that tour due to the pandemic. Some of it's going to be rescheduled, so I will be in the UK for the first time coming up next year, and then some more touring around Germany and such. But,
hey, did you go to?
Roof Records has had more than. Samantha Fish was on Roof Records for me.
I know. Why did she leave? Now I don't have her CD.
Well, the truth is she got big. She's bigger now. You know,
really?
So she moved on to a little bigger label.
I actually saw Samantha Fish in San Diego. There's a little. I'm not going to say that. There's a little place in San Diego downtown. It's called the Casbah. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't. I haven't even been able to get a show yet in California yet. I'm still working on it.
Okay, well, we can work on that. So now that you know Whitney, we can. Yeah, there's several places that we can maybe hook you up on. There's a place called Proud Mary's. They're in San Diego. There's Belly Up, of course, where Whitney has been there a lot of times. So you may be able to get once they open up too. So that's a big venue. Belly Up. Where else? Coach House, San Juan Capistrano, and then there's Old Town Blues Club in Temecula. So those are the 4 big ones that you should be looking into. But I think Whitney can kind of hook you up with something out here too. Yeah. So anyway, what else was I going to ask you? Well, so that's pretty much it. I was going to ask you, have you been? Did you go to Poland while you're in Europe?
You know what? I think we did one show in Poland. And when I'm over there on these tours, I don't even know where I am. I mean, occasionally, I look at the schedule and I'm going, okay, we're going to so and so, and I don't even know what country I'm in half the time. But it turns into a big blur. But I do recall we went to Poland for one show.
That's cool.
So
yeah, so it's kind of like when you're touring, it's constant. It's like day in, day out, and you just try to hit as many venues as you can. Especially if you've spent the money, or your label has spent the money to send you on tour. So, how you doing in Europe? How's your sales in Europe?
Man, they were fantastic. I was killing it before right before the pandemic shut down. I was actually set to have the biggest year of my career. I was actually looking that I might have got myself out of the debt that I had at the time.
Yeah.
But it's I don't want to. I try not to look back at it and be upset. Because it doesn't do you any good. And because of this pandemic, I created this Unemployed Highly Annoyed album, which I think is some of the best work I've ever done. Because it's real live. I mean, we basically just hit the tape and started ripping on songs that we just wrote. I wrote the songs, some of them that day we were in the studio. And I got to spend the first year of my baby boy's life on the planet with him every day. So my 15-month-old son, he's 15 months today.
What's his name?
He knows his dad real well now, and he crawls up to my leg and calls me daddy, and I wouldn't have had that because of the pandemic. If the pandemic wouldn't have happened.
What's your son's first name?
His name is Leonardo. It's Leo Stone. There's a song on the Heavens to Betsy album called Leo Stone. I wrote that song about him right before he was born.
Cool. All right. Well, so and you know what? Actually, this one may be a collector's item, because in blues, a lot of times, the older blues guys from the 30s, 40s, Dust Bowl, they're singing about events that are happening in their lives, whether they're drinking too much, smoking too much, too many women, Dust Bowl, poor, unemployment line. So you've actually taken care of the one for the pandemic. So this one will probably be historic for you. People will be ordering it 100 years from now.
What's funny is that in most cases, it's something that I try not to do, is to date the music whenever I write lyrics. But in this particular case, I set out to actually do exactly that.
Right.
The music perfectly to this time.
Yeah.
So it was a weird flip for me.
Yeah, we're probably only going to have this. Well, hopefully, unless this is like a new trend, the new normal. Hopefully, this is a pandemic doesn't come for another 100 years. But anyway, yeah. So hey, Jeremiah, I'm glad to hear you're doing good, and Whitney had the same thing too, because this is like probably her first one that she did with Roof Records it's her first one, and it's really good. It's in the Roots Music Report charts, and it's like, but she can't perform in any of the venues. And it's a shame that happened. But you know what? Even though it did happen, and you guys didn't have a good year as far as venues and sales, maybe some of the best music, not the best, a lot of good quality music came out this year. So there were some good things.
And Whitney Shea's going to have her day, and she put out a great record. She's going to have a great career, I think. I think she's got a wonderful voice. She's a great person to work with. And, we're going to get through this thing. This pandemic will be over. I predict around summer, I think we start seeing things opening up. And then by fall, we're going to be big shows again. So.
Well, I think both of you guys will be stars in the future. Stars in the future? When do you expect your next album to come out?
Well, I probably won't make another album until 2022 at this point. I want to tour a full year.
Right.
I won't even get a full year touring with 2 new albums. I put out 2 albums this year.
I know.
Heavens to Betsy was #1 at the beginning of the year, and then on the Billboard charts, and then this Unemployed Highly Annoyed hit #4. So I've had 2 albums in the top 5 this year. And I haven't got to tour on any of them. you know. So I won't. I'll probably make another record till 22.
Okay, so you're saying your Heaven to Betsy is more Southern rock.
It is. It's a more of a Southern rock album, and
Okay.
if you like that kind of music, you're gonna like that record a lot. If you like lean more into the blues.
Well, I do, but one of the promoters that sent me your music, he said it was country. So I'm not necessarily a country fan, but if it's Southern rock, maybe you can hook me up with that.
I can definitely do that, and I have, I have been accused of having a country accent because I have family from Paducah, Kentucky.
Right.
But I'm definitely no Garth Brooks, man.
Well, I mean, you could be. Okay, so well, that's good. Yeah, I like Southern rock. I like some countries, but some I just, So when he said it was country, I go, well, that doesn't really fit my show because I'm more blues.
He couldn't have listened to the whole thing, and he must have heard one song and said, this is whatever." But that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you a copy of it, man.
You want me to text you my address so we can get that?
Address and I'll send it to you.
Okay. Also, so you can see this interview. I have a YouTube site. It's Rick Keys Music Caravan YouTube. Subscribe to it, and I'll put this whole interview on it. It'll probably be there tomorrow because there's a little delay. So we'll put that on there, and you can see. Well, you can't see you, but you can hear yourself. And then also below that or above that, however it works out, I'm going to be playing every song on your CD. So if you can get people to go to that, that's how they can actually listen to my show. That's about as live as I can get right now. But they can actually see and sometimes hear your music and see you guys actually playing. So it's kind of
I see your website.
That's mine too. So I'm adding rickkeysmusiccaravan.com. So I'm adding you right at the moment. But you see the other people on the list?
Oh yeah, I see those people. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you're
all right, man.
So I got a pretty good list there.
Yeah, you do, man. You sure do.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Bjorn Riesiger?
The name, it seems like I've been familiar with, but I'm not familiar with the music in any way or the person.
Well, he's from Denmark. He's not on the chart now, but it's like, you know what? This album was way good, and all those albums are really good. Some of them may not be in the top 10 right now. Oh, but going back to that. So as I tell people in that RMR chart, the numbers vary a lot, but it's when someone's in the top 10 for a long time, that tells you if there's a selection at the end of if Roots Music Reports has a best blues artist of the year or top 10, then the ones that have been in the top 10 for a long time are probably going to get the nod, where the ones we're seeing now are just new people that got a release currently and all the DJs are playing it. So that's kind of how their numbers go up real fast, but it's the ones. Yeah. So that's why it's good for you. You were 44, you're jumping up. So that's kind of, I can tell. And when I heard yours the first time, Jeremiah, I go, oh man, this one's great. I didn't, a lot of them I kind of listened to them for a while before I put them in the makes my list pile, but I put yours right into that list, knowing that it was going to be good. And sure enough, once I played you the first time, you're in the top 10. So,
oh man, well man, I tell you what, man, I'm just thankful that people care. When you're a musician, I know a lot of great players and great, very talented guitar players and stuff, but they can't get no one to listen to them. Maybe they can't write songs or for whatever reason that people just don't seem to like them. And I've just been real lucky to get enough people that pay attention and they like the music and care about it enough to do things like this, what you're doing, and I appreciate it with all my heart, man. I really do.
Yeah, and pass the word to your friends and stuff, so if they can actually watch you tomorrow by either going to YouTube or my website or on Facebook, however.
Okay.
All right.
I will do that, man. Well, thanks again, man, and everybody take care and just hang in there. We're almost through this thing.
That's right. All right, Jeremiah, again, thank you for a wonderful album. Congratulations.
Thanks again.
All right. Bye. Do.